Recording. Go.
All right.
Welcome, fucking dumbasses.
Oh, fuck this.
All right, we're off to a good start.
Oh shit, let's start over again.
This is the League of Unexpected Heroes-ish. That ish part referring to the gentleman
You
to
guys.
my right who just started the stream, like by calling our audience fucking dumbasses.
Yeah.
Shit, let's start over again. Welcome, you jackasses. Shit!
You suck at this.
Man,
No, he just sucks cock.
I thought he was talking about himself.
Oh, yeah.
you know you have a good point. Yeah. So this is session 7, I believe.
That was
Damn.
badass. Is it 8? No, it's 7.
Pretty sure on 7. Yeah. So this is session 7. Our intrepid adventurers have made their way from a tiny shipping village of Iconium all the way to the sprawling metropolis of Shawstone, where the Merchants Guild, known as the Bonded Stallions, have their headquarters. Along the way, they tracked down and saved the life of a merchant who carried a very special, very ancient elven arrow that, come to find out, had been found on the shores of the country to the west, Eschium. It has now been returned to Phrygia, and our hill dwarf monk Delg has just signed the party on to transport it to the capital city.
Without our consent.
Guys.
I mean, you guys were the ones who walked off and did not even want to wait until the
But tavern.
butt tavern. You found a butt tavern. You want?
Hey,
Wow.
I had to go freaking
Yeah.
pray. So fuck that.
It had a glory hole.
I didn't. I did not know that your character was into that kind of thing.
Only in your dreams, buddy. Only in your dreams.
Never specified where.
That's true.
Meanwhile, our rogue and you're a warlock, right?
Huh? Sorcerer.
Sorcerer. Our rogue and
Get
sorcerer.
your shit straight, DM.
Our rogue and sorcerer found their way to the sketchy part of town, where the rogue conscripted a local youth into being a spy for him. The sorcerer, meanwhile, was only interested in food and getting some information about some magic shops in the area.
Greasy food.
Greasy food.
Yeah,
We rolled to see if we had diarrhea. We didn't.
I did.
Troy.
I managed to hold it though.
Christoph needs to find himself a bathroom as soon as he can.
No.
That might be fun.
Gonna be a dark alleyway somewhere.
You're on your own, dude.
The other hill dwarf,
It's 5
Melon,
o'clock.
found his way to a temple to pray to his god, or at least a god. And then he made his way south to the second temple. He's just making the rounds as a cleric, going to temple after temple, doing his daily diligence. Eladia also went to one of the temples, where...
To get some dwarf loving.
Oh, I have
What
to...
did happen there? You just kind of went in and then went out.
Okay. Well, first off, I have to recant something. Is that I did find earlier that I said I was with Bahamut, but then I couldn't find it. But then
I'm
after,
just
you know.
this guy.
Okay.
Anyway,
Are you
I
done?
would much rather stay with Melora.
Okay, yeah.
So
We'll...
just to clarify that.
I'll allow it.
And then so.
Oh, that's right. Eladia, before going to the temple,
Yeah, we
tried
had
to
this.
like bet. She
trying
strong armed a half elf into telling her where the
I
where the
gave
guild
him
leader
adequate
was.
compensation. Thank you very
That's
much.
true. That's true.
Which he was
and fear.
happy for.
She found the guild leader's offices. They were locked at the time.
Yeah.
Troy.
And,
see?
and then she decided to go to the temple.
Yep.
And then afterwards she
I'm
said
going hunting.
she said she was going hunting. So we'll see where that leads.
Oh, I know where it leads.
And all right, I believe
I need to get George.
I believe that.
Before I forget again.
I believe that brings us up to speed. So.
By the way, George was the guy who's now missing for our audience.
He was not missing.
Missing a hand.
Oh, yeah, he was missing a hand.
He's the bandit that they cut off, whose hand they cut off, and then
told him, "Here, live a better life. Although you can't work now."
So he's with me.
he also was rendered catatonic, presumably by legions of 3-foot-tall spiders.
Although,
We're working on that.
although to be fair though, if he can't work, he could at least
He's got some recognition back.
He could become a bard. He could start singing. Wake
he's
me up.
house- He's
Actually, I
housebroken.
figured he would be going behind, just going, "Oh, Sir Brave, Sir
Nobody got the
Robin."
point.
Yes. Okay. So, diving back into things, what is everyone doing?
Hunting.
Still looking for.
I guess I should go get
Or
George.
still heading towards the shop.
You are heading towards the shop. Yes. Did you happen to write down the name of the shop I gave you?
No, because it was like a 3-worded. Kind of thing. Yeah.
A 3-worded flap.
Actually, I take that back. I would not bring George hunting with me.
Okay.
It'd probably be going better. It'd probably go worse.
I did my little thief's sign in front of everybody in the shop, which was like,
Very descriptive. Thank you.
it was placing my thumb on the tip of my nose, wiggling the fingers, and then patting my stomach.
You were rubbing for a second.
Rub it.
sir.
Well, it's hard to do. I'll let you know that.
He's special.
Really? So, like, if we...
You wiggle your fingers too. It's not easy.
like, I don't know what's wrong with you, dude. Like...
I
you're
freaking
like-
love this group. This group is fantastic. All right. Let's just, for the sake of
Come up with a new name. I'll notate it.
Dena's, D-E-N-A. Dena's Mystical Emporium. And for anyone who goes back and watches the recording that we have on YouTube for the last episode, screw you, it's now Dena's Mystical Emporium.
Way to keep the viewers, sir. Way to keep the viewers.
I mean, every session, we'll just come up with a new name for it.
Yeah.
You know what?
It went through new ownership. Okay.
You know what? I can frickin' retcon something.
To be fair, though, there is going to be somebody at some point when we get more viewers who's going to be in the comment section. It was actually this in the last episode. You're a fucking terrible DM.
Yeah.
Well,
I
there's
would like
always...
to reiterate that this is my first time DMing, so.
Well,
and
here's
it's
the thing is,
Sorry.
you're always going to have those critics. So it doesn't matter, like, what you're doing. Everyone's going to be... And there's always going to be people who are like, oh, but the rules say this, so...
and the rules are he's DM. He can do what he wants.
But see, it's funny because I think
rules
people
are
actually
suck my
forget that the rules are more like a guideline rather
Right,
than
right.
a
Yeah.
set in stone. This is how things are going to be.
It's not in the Dungeons Master's Guide, but it's in like one of the extensions for the Dungeon Master's
Yeah.
Guide. And it straight up says there's this way of looking at it, which is rules as written. There's this way of looking at it, which is rules in terms of the spirit of the rules. And then there's this way of looking at it. So there's like 3 different ways that you can look at the rules, and it's up to me as the DM to determine how I want to look at them.
Right. All right.
I think the main
Moving
thing
on.
though is if you maintain consistency,
Yeah.
then you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Oh my gosh.
Let's focus on your character. Bless you. Good God
Wow.
damn.
So
Excuse me.
here's something pretty awesome. I was typing in League of Unexpected in YouTube, and it's straight up autofilled. So we're already getting into autofilled territory, people.
Woo!
Right on.
So
Optimization for the win.
right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you're headed to the Mystical Emporium, Eladia. What are you doing as far as quote unquote hunting? I have a feeling I know what you're doing.
Oh, well, we talked about this last time. We just didn't get to do it. I'm sorry. So I believe it's gonna require some of these.
course you need all those dice.
Yes. Alright.
Yeah.
There
duh.
is never a limit to how many dice you have.
Nope, I'm playing with you.
No! Give me
Never
them
won.
back!
But the metal.
You never touch another person's dice?
Too bad.
Oh.
Dude. Rude.
Anyway. Okay, you're gonna be doing this all night, you jerk. So I think what's gonna be happening is that, honestly, I'm probably trying to figure out, because I'm not familiar with this town. So I'm probably going to be just wandering the streets at the moment, trying to see if I can locate particular people of interest.
Oh, really? Particular people of interest.
That's correct.
Are you looking for a soulmate or someone else?
I'll let you decide.
I know.
Oh, she's already got a soulmate.
Oh yeah, he's in the church right now.
A particular cleric who...
He's on his knees.
Oh, and that's where he will stay.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm legitimately going back and trying to find out because I want to do the.
No
No one cares.
No
No,
one's
no,
gonna-
late.
Okay, you know what? Continue. So you're wandering.
waiting on
wandering the
you.
streets. You're wandering the streets. Yes. Okay.
For particular people of
Okay.
interest.
And Milan's on his knees.
Where he belongs.
Where
So-
I belong.
As you are wandering the streets, you are.
Oh god.
Oh,
I think I broke someone.
You're gonna grope someone?
Broke. He broke.
Oh.
Broke. It's almost the same thing. We
Mm.
are really off track right now.
Okay. Del, you have just finished up your meeting.
What are you doing?
Drinking.
I mean, me too, but
Without me?
hey, there is
You're not
bourbon
here.
right here.
Good bourbon too.
They even have Dr. Pepper for mixing.
Oh, fine. I'll drink some whiskey. I got some Weller.
Hey, we got Weller too.
We got Weller.
Nice.
You're drinking Lucan's Weller, aren't you?
Yeah.
You know-
Antique Weller.
You know what? If I didn't have my own bottle of Weller, I would be flipping you off right now because he was supposed to save that for me.
Oh, the antique Weller?
Yes.
Oh, well, he sure ain't saving for you.
Motherfucker.
All right.
So, Del, you just finished up your meeting with Diessa. She has conscripted you to escort the Arrow. She and Arthur are going to be putting together a plan for the departure regarding its safety, and as well as your party's safety.
Ow.
Hopefully. She has ushered you out of the office in as kindly a way as possible.
I already got the money, right?
Yes, she provided you with 500 gold, and you also have basically, she wrote you and Christoph letters of promotion. So you now, if you should need it, have proof that you are rank 3 in the Bonded Stallions, as well as letters of acceptance to provide to the rest of the party.
Okay.
Basically, it's an invitation to join the Bonded Stallions if they should if they so wish. The letter, in its entirety, basically says, "We appreciate your service to our guild. Feel free to come by the guild hall and accept an invitation to join us. If not, no hard feelings."
Okay. There's no feelings.
Yeah. So, what are you doing?
Do I have the arrow?
No, you do not have the arrow. The arrow is going to be remaining with Diessa until they figure out, when you're going to be leaving.
Okay. Then yeah, I will. At that point, I'll head back towards where we slept the night before and see if anybody's shown back up.
Okay.
You have to leave in like 20 minutes.
You head
No,
downstairs.
I got it figured out.
And
That's why I was late.
your
That's why I
rooms.
was late, because I got it figured out.
Your rooms are relatively close together. I mean, you guys were basically taking the rooms that hadn't already been taken. So there's a little bit of a spread as far as where you all wound up. But
You didn't let him roll anything for me.
as far as you know, you all were relatively close together, especially when you saw, you guys kind of saw each other as you were getting ready for your day.
No.
As of right now, it does not appear that anyone has been back or is back. Are you exploring anything else?
I would just kind of wander around the guild hall, taking in the sights.
I'm going to show you what it does.
Okay.
Stopping to chat with people as I pass them, but I'm not going out into the city alone. No.
Okay, yeah. So as you explore the guild hall, you take in its majesty. You can definitely tell that this is something that they have built up over time. In fact, you find yourself in a records room, basically detailing the history of the Bonded Stallions. It started shortly after the current Phrygian empire, well, country.
It's pretty close.
I don't want to call it an empire because it's not really an empire, but after the current form of Phrygia started, basically it was a band of 10 merchants who realized that there was a need for some sort of control over the market. Basically, back in those early days, there wasn't any kind of regulations. There was all sorts of improper dealings going down, things of that nature. And these 10 merchants decided that there needed to be some control. They built themselves a small kind of longhouse out of wood blocks and met there as often as their travels would allow them.
Okay.
And from that humble beginning, they just grew until they became the guild that they are today. In fact, that longhouse is what laid the foundations for the current guild hall that is now in place.
Okay.
So, Nate.
Yes.
You had just made a child your spy.
Don't say bitch, because that sounds wrong.
I wasn't going to. A little orphan, 12-year-old orphan by the name of Ralphie. Afterwards, you went into the Crosshammers, and Christoph paid for you to have some breakfast. You did your little Thieves Guild dance, and no one seemed to recognize it. No one paid you any mind except for one person who gave you a funny look, and after a little while walked out. Last week you said that you were following him, so
I successfully stealthed.
you did successfully stealth. That gentleman is making his way south, basically towards the market area. I take it you're still following him?
I'm still following.
You're still following him, okay. Alright, so this gentleman, as they make their way south, he's kind of looking over his shoulder, but not so much in a way that would make you think that he is concerned about being followed.
AKA, he knows you're following him.
This gentleman goes into one of the more crowded stall areas where there are a number of people. He buys himself a couple of produce items, carrots, potatoes, just everyday normal items. And
It's a code.
and
The
then
carrot was an R.
I love how you guys automatically assume that there's some devious plot to this guy's
Maybe he just
day.
wants some goddamn carrots.
No, man, I totally thought he was going to chuck them at you.
As he is going about his shopping,
Our lifestyle.
He's making a stew later.
he heads down an alleyway.
We'll continue to follow.
I would like you to make a perception check to see if you catch him going down the alley in the crowd.
He's trying to
2. I do not catch him.
He caught you.
He has successfully evaded your tracking. You see what appears to be the man walking down an alleyway, and as you go to follow him, you feel something in the small of your back. You, over the thrum of the crowd, you hear a slight whisper. Why are you following me?
Called it.
Now, I got me knife to your back. So no funny business. I want the truth.
Funny business.
Actually, there is no funny business whatsoever. I thought you were part of the Brotherhood.
The Brotherhood? You thought I was part of the Black Circle? I would never join that band of thieves and murderers. Who the hell are you?
My name's Nate. So sorry. What was the Thieves Guild name again? I need to write that down.
It's called the Elusive Light.
Formerly of the Elusive Light.
Wait. You don't mean... You don't mean that guild that what goes around fixing people's problems, do you?
Depends on what problems, but yes.
The point in your back is suddenly removed.
And then you feel it again.
and you hear, well, I don't want no trouble from some fixer. I just wanted to know what you were doing in me business.
Well, you did notice me.
I noticed a stranger in a tavern doing a weird fucking dance. Of course I was gonna look at you. The hell did you think I was?
My mistake. I perceived you to potentially be part of the guild.
No. I'm just a man what wants peace in his city. The Black Circle been running these streets for as long as I can remember. I just want them to fuck off.
What have they done to you?
Not me personally, but they've been running this city like it's their own personal piggy bank. They conscript those what don't got no family or prospects.
I was laughing because he got the orphan that.
They murder those what don't believe in them
With threat.
or try to oppose them. It just needs to stop, if you ask me.
I agree, and I believe that's something that we should be able to do. What do you know about them? Do you know where they're located, or they're headquartered?
Nah, they don't let that kind of information slip outside their hierarchy. No. No, I don't know nothing like that. But I know that there's a group trying to take them down.
Oh, yeah.
There's been talk of a war in the shadows lately. From what I understand, they call themselves the Rangers Covenant. They want the Black Circle gone just as much as I do. Can't seem to find them though. Would really like to join them if you know what I mean.
I agree. So you don't know anything about them. Do you know anybody that you suspect is part of the Black Circle?
Oh, of course. Black Circle's got enforcers out everywhere.
I need the highest person that you know.
Well, do you have a question?
No, I didn't know.
Throwing candy.
Well, there's the best person I can think of is a guy. He's basically what you might call the enforcer's enforcer.
Okay.
At least for my neighborhood.
I'm really good at this.
He basically collects all the taxes that the enforcers collect. He's in charge of my neighborhood, or at least the enforcers of my neighborhood. Calls himself Bali. He's
Bali?
he's a dwarf. And but don't let his size fool you.
I never would.
He's not one to be trifled with if the stories are even half true.
How much stories are those?
Stories of him killing his own men just because they can't collect all the taxes they're supposed to. He's a right prick, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. Okay. Do you know whereabouts he spends his days? If he's not being a right prick and killing his men.
Well, I know that he likes that tavern that you found me in. In fact, I've been trying to keep an eye on it, see if I can find a way to take him down, at least, or maybe meet up with some of those guys from the Rangers Covenant. You know, maybe see if they've been trying to do the same thing. But he hadn't been there lately.
Okay.
I think this war's got his higher ups a little jumpy. you know, that makes me feel good if they're getting nervous. Means the Rangers Covenant might actually have a shot.
That does sound good. Well, I am the type of person who would like to assist anybody with their troubles, and I am actually very proficient in what I do, and I travel with a group of friends who are like-minded and like to assist people with their problems. I don't want you to
everyone speaking for me.
I don't want you to put yourself in any unnecessary danger, but if you can keep your ear to the ground, and pass along any information to me.
Get yelled at.
You're
the one that's gonna get yelled at.
What would that cost me?
Wouldn't have to cost you a penny.
Okay.
The way I see it, if you can help rid us of these murderers and dicks, then that's payment enough.
I'll tell you what, sir. Not everybody is as generous as you, and you know, everybody is. Not everybody's going to want to freely give up their safety for free. So I'm going to give you 20 gold. Use it how you wish, okay? And see what information you can get. All right.
You got it.
Meet me at sundown in the. We're close to the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sundown, close to the market. And tell me what you got.
I will do my best.
All right. And before I let you go, because it is a very rude thing to say here. What's your name, sir?
Oh, forgive me. Oh, I was so caught up in trying to surprise you and intimidate you. I didn't even think about that. Oh, they call me Elric.
Elric.
Yep.
All right, Elric. I look forward to hearing back from you.
Elric gives you a very sloppy salute, seeming to take you to be some sort of savior, and disappears back into the crowd. Before he does, however, you notice that this big burly man has no weapons on him, and your mind starts to wonder what exactly it was that he held you up with, before seeing him put a carrot away in his bag.
I like him.
Did I not?
I like him a lot.
Christoph,
Alright.
you have also made your way to the market district. Following the instructions you got from the bartender, you get lost.
I like him a lot.
Because you find out that the instructions that you found were not
Nothing
quite
like
exactly accurate.
You
Oh.
like things?
However, after some searching, you do come
That's the first one you
to
wanna look for, is the
a
paper
shop that
ones.
looks like it is, in fact, the place that you were supposed to have been led to.
Oh, okay.
The
I
shop.
hate that bartender.
No, right. The shop. The shop has a. It almost actually looks like it doesn't quite belong. It has kind of an otherworldly vibe to it.
Oh, those are my favorite kinds
Oh.
of shops.
Everything else around you appears to be pretty standard as far as marketplaces are concerned, or at least as far as you know marketplaces to be concerned.
Yeah.
Weapon shops, armor shops, food stalls, that sort of thing. This is the only shop that has curtains in the window and exotic items on display. You see a horn that looks ancient and as if it once belonged to a massive beast in the window. You see all manner of potions in the window. You see, if you were to look through the window, you would also see garments that look like robes, sort of a thing. The whole shop is basically just balls to the walls, filled with incense smoke.
I like this shop. I'm actually gonna go into that shop cautiously.
Okay. As you go into the shop, you see behind the counter a half-elf woman who kind of lights up at your entering. Hello. Oh my gosh. It's actually quite rare that we find ourselves with visitors. My name is Ilarion. Welcome to my shop. Well, not my shop, actually. This is Denna's Mystical Emporium. How may I help you?
Well, first off, Valerian, it is so very nice to meet you today. You are quite an angel, if I do say so myself. I'm just looking for some wares of the magical persuasion.
Oh, well, you flatter an old half-elf. I'm afraid you're a bit young for my taste, but I appreciate the compliment. What sort of wares are you looking for?
Honestly, my adventure's just starting. I'm mostly looking for any kind of staves or robes that would help out a sorcerer in need?
Well, what kind of price range do you have? We have many such items that might be able to help. Unfortunately, robes and staves are some of our more pricey objects.
Hey, I
Remember, you haven't met up with Delve, so you don't have the 100 XP that
gold.
Or sorry.
Whoa, whoa, we're getting 100 free XP for meeting up?
You don't have the 100 gold quite yet.
I understand.
That's still in Delve's hands.
All right. Well, so I mean, honestly, right now, I'd say I could play around with about 180 gold.
Okay.
Who's your toothpick?
Well, let us see what we can do for you. I'll show you our staffs first, unless you are more interested in magical protection than anything else.
I'd prefer some looking at the staves first.
Okay.
You're right on that call.
Very well. Follow me. She leads you over to a
Thick man laying on thick.
She leads you over to a section that has many rods and staves, things of that nature. Let's see here. So these are some of our more exotic items. She shows you the rods first. There are a number of different items there. You see one that looks like it would belong in some sort of royalty's hands. It's very ornate with gold. Almost looks like a scepter of some kind. The one beside it looks more like a mace.
Are these items identified?
So what you're seeing here is a rod of rulership.
Okay.
There's the one that looks like a mace next to it is a rod of lordly might.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what.
These, however, all have exorbitant price tags.
Far more than the stated amount that I had mentioned.
Oh yes. In fact, she kind of shows you them, but in a way that is like move along.
Gotcha.
Kind of like entice your desire enough to maybe come back.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kind of a way.
All right. Well, I'll think about it. Depends on what kind of deal you can work with me on what I can afford.
Now these here are our staves. We have many different ones here. Some of them are quite rare. Now, in your particular price range, we might need to look here. Now, what kind of
to the bottom of the barrel?
what kind of magic do you specialize in?
Oh, so as far as that, I'm focusing primarily towards fire in the near future. But right as of now, fire and magic missile is my go-to.
Okay.
Do what you love.
That actually worked out pretty well.
Don't do it again.
I do it when I want.
So,
That's not what your wife said.
hey, Troy.
So,
I'm
Never
joking,
mind.
dude. Just joking.
No.
Found what I was looking for.
You're not wrong.
do I?
Never mind, I found what I was looking for.
Sorry.
Okay.
Doesn't mean like a hateful this.
Alright, so, these here are very special staves. Now, you don't strike me as a religious or nature-dwelling type of magic user. Tell me, you are not by chance a cleric or a druid, correct?
Correct. I am neither of the above.
Okay, that's what I thought.
He's his own special breed.
Now, these
More draconic.
these particular staves are mostly used by druids or clerics, or even perhaps a warlock. The reason behind them is because they require an attunement of some kind that only those types of magic users can provide.
Getcha. Well, that doesn't do me no good. Do you have any
Exactly.
any stabs that would suit my playstyle? If not, I'd like to move on to robes.
As far as I'm aware, we don't yet, we don't at the moment possess any staves that might
Smile.
enhance your fire magic. I do.
Yeah.
I believe we do have
But yeah,
some potions that you might be
glasses,
interested in.
man,
Nah, I'm
mustache.
not in this for potions right at this moment.
Yeah, no.
A little disappointed, not gonna
Look
lie.
at the
But
serial
let's see
killer
what
look.
see if
No,
we got any
that's a
robes that
serial
we can take a look at.
Absolutely.
It's
Let's
weird because I look like my
Move
sister.
on. She brings you to a
Age
section
genetics?
where you can see several different rows. What's the word? Hanging. Wow. Hanging up. I feel so silly. I couldn't even think of the word hanging.
I feel silly. Oh, so silly.
Shut your face. Now this here is a slightly uncommon object. She shows you a robe with several different. It's a white robe.
Okay.
It would come if you were to wear it. It would come down to maybe your belly. And it upon the robe, it has several different symbols. You see a ladder, a piece of parchment, a chest, a gem, so on and so forth. She tells you this here is what's called a robe of useful items.
Wear it.
Does that have the patches?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to wear this robe, you can use you would be able to detach one of the several different pouches along the robe and manifest it into its physical object or the creature that it represents. Now, you can only do this once
Per patch or
per patch.
how many patches are on?
However, once the last patch is removed, the robe will then become an ordinary garment.
Get done with your
As you
stuff,
look-
wear it.
As you look upon the robe, you see that the robe has two of each of the following patches.
Let me grab my notepad right quick. Alright, go ahead.
So you see that it has. Two dagger patches, two bullseye lantern patches.
Is that okay, never mind.
I'll give you a precise detailing
All right.
of that one in a minute.
I'll just let you know later.
I mean, I have dark vision, so it's if it just provides light.
It also has 2 steel mirror patches. It has a 2 10-foot pole patches.
Touch her with a 10-foot pole.
It has 2 patches that appear to look like hemp and rope. 2 patches that show sacks in them. There is also one portable ram patch. There is a bag that looks like it contains gold. There is a window on the patch, which you can place on a vertical surface you can reach.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, you'd be able to like
Create
pull
a
the patch out and create a window. Yeah.
Okay.
You also see a wooden ladder. Like I said before, you can see the ladder.
Mm-hmm.
You can see what looks to be like an iron door. The patch itself is quite small, but its magical aura gives off the impression that this door would be malleable. You could create the door at different sizes.
Oh, okay.
Depending on what you wanted. The door would be able to. This is meta. But the door would be able to go up to 10 feet wide and 10 feet high. And you can have it barred on either side.
Gotcha. Okay.
Let's see here. It will conform to fit the opening, attaching and hinging itself. Basically, you'd have to put it on an opening, and it would conform to fit itself within 10 feet.
10 by 10?
10 by 10.
Alright.
There is also a what looks to be like a silver coffer with gold in it.
Okay.
And lastly, there is also what looks to be a scroll on it.
Okay. It's 2 of each except for the portable ram patch.
It's 2 of each except for those ones that I started.
Everything past portable ram is just 1.
Oh, okay.
Everything past sack is just 1.
Gotcha. Alright.
The portable ram, the window, the bag of what looks like gold, the silver coffer of what looks like gold, the iron door, and the wooden ladder, and the scroll.
Gotcha. And I do apologize,
Now,
Angel.
This here is quite a useful item. We currently have it on display at 120 gold for us.
Gotcha. Alright, well, I want to see if I can persuade her to work with me on the price.
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll.
Alright. 10 plus. So here. Where's my persuasion at? 6. So 16.
Like I said, this is quite useful, but then again, we haven't had too many people coming in interested.
A returned customer could do you good.
That is quite true. I tell you what, I do have permission from Dena to make deals per my own discretion. I get the sense that we could make quite the customer out of you. In that case, I will drop the price down to 100 gold.
It seems like a fair deal.
Okay.
I think I'll take you up on that.
All right. Before you go, I do have two other items that I think you might be interested in. She leads you over to the counter, behind which you see several different rings, many of which have many of which have several gems in them, different varying metals, silver, gold, steel.
Just search rub.
She brings you over to a few of the less exotic rings. Now this here, she holds up a ring with a slightly reddish metal, made out of slightly reddish metal. Almost looks like iron that's been rusted, but not as dangerous. Like it has that rusted iron look to it,
Yeah.
but it looks like it was made that way.
Okay.
And she says, "This here is what's called a ring of warmth. While wearing this ring, you would have resistance to cold. In addition, you and everything you wear and carry will be unharmed by temperatures as low as 50 degrees. The other one is a silver ring with blue gems in it. The gems are fashioned into the ring, almost giving you the impression of like a river. Like it almost looks like water, the way they're like flowing water, the way they're positioned."
Okay.
She says, "This here is what's called a ring of water walking. Now, if you were to wear this ring, you would be able to stand and move across any liquid surface as if it were solid ground.
That just sounds like fun.
The ring of warmth is 80 gold. The ring of water walking would normally be 110 gold. However, I'm willing to provide you the same deal on the road and bring that down to 80 as well. You'd be spending exactly in your price range.
Gotcha.
And you can have, and I will throw in either the ring of warmth or the ring of water walking."
I think I'll take you up on that ring of water walking.
Very well.
That's in there too.
So for the robe and the ring, that'll be 180 gold.
There you go.
She takes the gold, puts it behind the counter, and provides you with both items, and bids you a fond farewell.
You create your reality.
That's what we're doing
All
right
right.
now.
Does
John,
this have,
John, aka Milan,
does this have a...
what are you doing?
What it had, the patches it had?
I'm on my way to the other church.
Okay,
I'm getting down to the nipple.
so
Oh, I just missed you. Now I'm sad.
actually, it's kind of funny because I'm pretty sure he's heading to the one that you left.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Well, I mean, there's 3 temples, so I mean, he could have been heading to the other one. But
rude.
I know, right?
We may run into each other.
Right. Are you doing anything while you're heading through the town?
Gotcha.
I'll keep an eye out, see if I can see any good items for,
Yeah.
like, get a better shield or
I'm gonna-
get
I'm gonna-
better armor of any sort.
Okay. As you go through the town, you see plenty of people offering things. You do see a very nice looking. Wait, does your character even use shields?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Didn't realize that. You see some nice.
Oh no, I don't. No, sorry. Yeah, I do.
Okay. Make up your mind. Geez.
Sorry. Yeah, I do.
Okay. You see some nice looking armor. It's actually scale mail. The armorer who is providing all the armor here is shouting out. Well, not shouting out, but he has little cardboard signs. The scale mail says that it is 50 gold pieces. There's also
Unfortunately, never used that.
full half plate armor for 200 gold. There's a chain shirt also for 50 gold, and hide armor for 10 gold.
The first point you said, if you had to put a value on it, what would it be?
If I had to put a value on it besides the 50 gold?
No, a numerical value of like how much armor it defended.
Oh, I mean, the armorer sitting next to you that's offering it, he says, you know, this here is some pretty good armor. If I had to put a numerical value, I would probably say it feels like a 14 when you're wearing it, you know?
Okay.
I mean, it also feels like you could add yourself, like it feels like you can move around in it. One could almost say that you could add your dexterity to that number.
Oh, okay. It's not very useful to me then. Thank you, though, sir.
All right.
I'll see if I can find any magical amulets of anything that sort as well.
Okay.
That help either increase my defenses or my attack.
Well, you don't see any amulets, but as you're making your way kind of around the markets that surround the Merchants Guild Hall and make your way more south, you do happen upon a weapons shop that has a great deal many things, including what looks to be like a very nice, very shiny warhammer. It looks like it is in slightly better shape than the one you're currently carrying. The weaponsmith sees you lingering and not even waiting to see if you're interested in it. He walks right up to you and says, "You look like a dwarf with fine taste. Now, I've got the best weapons in all of Shawstone. In fact, that warhammer right there that you see is quite the beauty. If I had to put a numerical value on it, one could almost say that it has a +1 to its attack capabilities. What do you say? I normally sell this beauty here for 100 gold pieces, but I think I'm going to shave that down just for you and get you a deal at 80 gold pieces. What do you say, buddy?"
What? One second. I think those at my apartment.
He's got pizza! Gank him! While he's doing his thing, Eladia, you are walking around town, spying.
Alec out.
You're spying other people. What are you up to?
Every time I tell him, he acts like I'm going to change what I'm doing.
Okay, fine.
What are you doing?
In fact, in that case, roll me a perception.
Oh, thank you.
Roll me perception.
What? Like, okay, as a DM, I know why you're trying to do it, but as a character, I'm like, no, I'm doing it. Like, let's see. Oh man, I have trouble for some shit. 9.
As you walk,
I don't find any.
As you walk around town, you see plenty of half elves and dwarves and humans.
I love you too.
And in fact,
Aww, this is the worst.
and in fact, at one point, your eye seems to catch a glimpse of what looks to be red skin. However, as you rush forward in an attempt to tackle whoever it might be, you see that it is not in fact red
Tackle's
skin.
excessive.
You see that it's not in fact red skin. It is just a red coat.
Damn.
Melon, before you were interrupted, what were you about to say?
I want to ask the gentleman what his religion is, like who he praises.
Oh, well, that's an odd question. I gotta say, I don't believe I've ever been asked that. I mean, if I had to pick one, it would probably be Pelor, god of the sun. He's pretty prominent around here.
Did I go to that church already?
No. In fact, you were on your way to the Temple of Avandra when you were stopped by this gentleman.
Okay. I'm going to go and ask him, like, well, I'm on my way to that church, and if you'd be able to give me a better deal, I'll go ahead and see if I can talk to your priest, see what we can do about, see if we can try to get you a blessing of some sort.
That's the conniver that I know.
Oh, really? What kind of blessing we talking about here? More
That's
customers?
up to the gods to decide.
Well, you know what? That's not quite a bad deal. Go ahead and roll persuasion.
Alright. Oops, wrong page. 19.
I tell you what. Why don't I knock another 10 gold off? Bring it down to 70. You put in a good word for me with the higher ups.
Alright, sounds like a good deal, sir. I'll take you up on it.
All right. He hands over the warhammer, and whatever the 5e equivalent of an appraisal is, go ahead and make that.
Don't know why that's whatever the
Wait, what?
whatever the 5th
Okay,
edition
so-
of an appraisal.
Alright,
So,
so-
you know how
It's gonna be an insight.
okay. Normally you'd make an appraisal check, but since we're doing 5e, I want you to make an insight check.
Nat 20, bitch.
Oh,
Oh shit!
I
Stu.
feel like
fucking shit.
he might have succeeded that.
I mean, I want to get a second opinion on this. I think he probably just got ganked.
Okay, so what?
Why didn't you do that before you agreed to take him up on the offer?
I
Oh,
mean,
me?
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's only worth 10 gold.
Okay.
I mean, if anything, if he cheats me, I'll just make sure his God curses him.
Okay. So, okay, so what we have here is quite the interesting little weapon that you've got. This here, you can already tell that this man did not know what he had, because what you are holding in your hand is a warhammer of warning. It's also a +1. This is actually a magic weapon that will warn you of danger. Alright? While the weapon is on your person, you have advantage on initiative rolls. In addition, you and any of your companions within 30 feet of you can't be surprised,
Ooh.
except when incapacitated by something other than non-magical sleep.
So sleeping darts will do no good.
The weapon will magically awaken you and your companions within range if any of you are sleeping naturally when combat begins.
So everyone snuggle up to the cleric.
Oh, actually, you guys would be snuggling up on me. Like, sorry, did I say that out loud?
All right, so yeah, you got yourself a pretty nice looking warhammer there.
Yay.
Alrighty, now, are you wanting to continue going to Avandra, or are you heading to Pelor like you told the gentleman?
I'm gonna keep going to church like I planned.
Well, no. Are you going to the Temple of Avandra or the Temple of Pelor?
Let's go for the second one.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Well, I just asked because you were originally on the way to Avandra, but
Yeah.
it seemed like you were wanting to change your mind after speaking to that gentleman.
Yeah. He did okay for me, so let's cheat him out.
All right. Eladria, you search through the town.
I'm very sad now.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be any tieflings that you can find, or at least none that appear to be out and about.
They've gotten smarter.
However, you do hear talk that there is a small tiefling population in the north of town. You overhear a few conversations and put together that there is a small tiefling population north of town in the more poorer districts.
Is there a blacksmith of sorts around?
There are several people who are selling objects, selling, weapons and armor, things of that nature. However, none of them seem to have an actual smithy nearby, or at least, along with their stalls. You can talk to one and see if they get their weapons from a smithy, if you would like.
I'll talk to one.
Okay. You head up to the nearest stall. Hello.
Hello.
I'm not sure that I've ever seen a lizard folk before. Welcome to our town. What can I do for you?
I need something that goes boom.
Feed fear, a suck it sandwich.
Something that goes boom. Okay. Well, I'm afraid all I've got here are the kinds of things that go stabby stab, or smash.
Okay, where do you find boom boom?
Well, this is of course the town of the Merchants Guild. One can find most anything here, if they know what they're looking for. Remind you guys spot.
Come on, son.
Hey, Tim. So, how you doing?
I was going to come inside Tom and be like, hey, as a game master, should you tell everybody that part of the mission they have to come outside and get groceries? Like suddenly, a grocery cart pulled up. You might help me really quick.
Right,
I'm not there, so I still want the free experience.
That's true. We can wait for you.
Sure, wait 4 hours.
Now, there is something that I think you might be interested in.
Okay.
Off to the west, there is a man by the name of Kune. He normally sells blades and the like, but from what I hear, the man is not opposed to making special requests, things to please whatever audience he might happen to be. He might happen to be entertaining.
You said he's to the west.
To the west.
I am a very entertaining person.
I know. I don't want to promise anything. I don't know how much of an expert he is in the art of making things explode, but he would be the person that I would say would be your best bet.
It's a drawing of a tube.
Interesting.
Troy, I love you, but I've seen your ass crack way more times than I'm comfortable with. You know that?
We are going to take a slight pause here
I'm sure you'll get
and take a quick break.
Everybody,
We'll be right back.
Everybody left you.
You're really stuck it.
Oh,
That usually, yeah. All right, we're back.
you pushed it earlier. I thought you needed it.
Everyone's had their breaks, gotten snacks, smokes.
No, we're supposed to get snacks?
I mean, Troy got a snack.
You got pizza,
Wait, what are
you
you
jerk.
snacking on?
He didn't offer any
got
to
a
the rest of
sandwich.
us.
Are you barefoot? Oh my god.
Yeah, probably.
So, all right.
Did you make that sandwich?
It wasn't good enough to serve the guests.
It's a peanut
Speaking of
butter
that-
jelly.
It means you're barefoot in the kitchen.
It's my
That's why
kitchen.
needed
I
that
like your
15
thought process.
Why is that? Why are you so like?
Yeah?
I'm sorry, I forgot you're
But-
single. Never mind.
Food, what are you gonna do? Cool, you have to decide. Because you're the picky eater.
One day you'll figure it out.
Nope.
Or
You
not.
can't be barefoot in your own kitchen.
No.
All right. So Delg is just kind
Don't
of
edit
chilling.
that out.
Delg is currently chilling at the guild hall. Christoph has found
Good food.
some useful magical items.
Food. There's a difference. We say food, it'd be anything.
Milan has bought himself a new warhammer and is currently on the way to the Temple of Pelor. Eladia, presumably.
Was that you?
Looks like you stuck your dick in it.
Apparently you bought a used jar of peanut butter. What
I'm going
is
to
wrong
believe
with
you so you don't have to continue that lie. For a third time today.
Today?
Yeah, he's lied to me 3 times today, like in a row.
You're a terrible
About the peanut butter?
person.
About the peanut butter?
No, one was about saying, sending me money for groceries, and the other
I
one was
sent you the money for groceries.
not before I asked. The
Prove
second
it.
time.
Oh,
You can do it!
You are.
What, damn, you were right beside me when I made that.
All right.
Anyway, continue.
As the day progresses, Eladia has tried and failed to find tieflings. Nate
Or a
has
person of interest.
found some interesting information and set up a
Network.
the makings of a spy network. He's got an orphan and a down in his luck kind of guy.
With a carrot knife.
By the time the sun starts to set, a messenger comes to Del to tell him that Diesa would like to see him and his party and his group, and several messengers have been sent throughout the city. Eventually, you all receive word that that the Bonded Stallions leader would like your presence at the guild hall.
Alright.
Before I leave the shop, does she have a bathroom?
there you see,
Roll
go
to-
back.
Roll to
here.
see if you shit yourself.
She does not, but considering we started this last week, go ahead and roll a Constitution check.
Damn.
Oh my god, please shit yourself.
I'm a brave adventurer. I would never do such a dishonorable thing. Where's my constitution?
Do what you love.
Well, that's not what I love.
For not doing Caitlin a favor by us lying 4 foot through
Would be the motto to save.
14 hours a day.
I'm sorry?
Do a Constitution save or
Constitution
straight?
save. Do a Constitution save.
+6, okay. 22.
Alright, so you
Brave adventurer.
you feel your stomach churning, but once again, you through sheer force of will, you manage to quiet the rumblings in your tummy.
You let out a very soft toot.
No, I got a 22.
You
That's not even a toot worthy.
you realize that you have quite the iron stomach. In fact, this time it's not even a close save. Like you you straight up tell your stomach to stop bitching. essentially.
I put it in its place.
All right, so you've all received the message. What is everyone doing?
I will go join the guild hall, I guess.
I want to go to the guild hall, but I want to see if I can go undetected.
Roll a stealth check.
19. I don't think I'm proficient in it. Oh, I am. +1, so dirty 20.
Okay. So you move quietly through the town, through the city, making your way to the guild hall. Milan, Eladia, what are you doing?
I'm still going to the group.
Okay. Eladia? Last I checked, you were wanting to check out a smithy.
Yeah. Is he within distance?
You...
You said he was west. I don't know how
Right.
far west.
Right. The town is set up like a giant circle, with a guild hall in the center. Imagine that you are...
Is he in town or outside town?
He's in town.
Okay.
He's in town. He is, from what you gathered, speaking to the weapons dealer, you gather that he is kind of on the outskirts near the wall.
Okay.
It's kind of where the buildings are thinned. There's less around, so he has the room to set up a blacksmith kind of area. You are probably within... You're closer to the guild hall than you are to the smith.
Is there a library? Source of information?
What character can you read?
You son of a bitch. You don't think there's a laptop between us?
There is...
I want knowledge on tieflings.
There is a library. It's not the biggest library. It's only one story, but it is something that the Scholars Guild had set up at one point within the town to, in their pursuit of...
Is there a Scholars Guild in this town?
No. The Scholars Guild themselves is not around, but they did set up a place of information similar to a library. It's going to be in the eastern side of town, where documents and basically the town government is really rather located.
Alright, I'll go there.
Okay. Alright, so Nate arrives at the guild hall, meets up with Del.
Hi, Del.
What up? We got paid for bringing in the arrow. I'm gonna hand him his 100 gold. And also, guess what?
What's that, sir?
You've been accepted into the Bonded Stallions. You're now a member. I'm gonna hand him the
Pretty sure that was an
his
option.
You're not there.
I take a look at the ID and I just start rubbing my eyes like...
Oh no, this is not an ID. You don't have a medallion.
Yeah,
It's
you're
just
not
a
actually-
letter. It's just a
It's a
letter.
letter telling you could join if you so choose. But I'm acting like you're. 'Cause I don't
He
see why
expects you
wouldn't-
to join.
Why you would say no? Also, you should probably get a good night's sleep today and not leave so early in the morning. We've got another job to do.
That's kind of
I
funny
like how he says this all cheerfully, like, yeah, we got another job.
Oh, that's kind of funny because I set us up with a job as well.
Oh, well, hopefully we
I'm
can
not
do it on the
there.
way,
I'm not
because
there.
we gotta go to
I'm
the
not
capital
there.
city tomorrow.
Communication is key.
It's inside of the city.
Oh, well, we'll just have to get it done tonight then.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
So much for good night's sleep.
we'll
So
have
much
to.
for that 20 gold. He
We'll have to meet up with my contact in the market tonight. Then.
Suddenly and without warning, Kristoff appears.
Not snarking.
That's what I'm saying. You,
Yeah.
neither of you notice.
I want to try to scare him.
Neither of you
Perception.
notice. Neither of you
Perception.
notice the half elf creeping up. Both of you make perception checks, and Kristoff, you're going to need to make a
Stealth
stealth check.
15.
18.
22.
Delg,
There's
You-
always one.
you can see Kristoff approaching. You see him moving as silently as he can. He's creeping forward, toe to heel, and he's actually doing quite well at it. In fact, you only barely catch him out of the corner of your eye.
Is he?
There was a tiny drop in there.
Is it? So it's obvious to me that he's trying to sneak up on him.
Who are you trying to sneak up on? You're specifically trying to sneak up on
Yeah, I
him?
want to scare him.
Okay. So you can tell that he's heading towards Nate.
Oh yeah, I won't say anything then.
And me?
What?
I got 15.
Alright, so, am I like close enough to like jump out at him?
You're about 15 feet away.
Oh, okay.
When Delg notices you.
Gotcha. Alright, so I'm gonna creep up, I'm gonna tap him on the, move over to the left side, tap him on the right shoulder. As soon as he looks towards there and then looks back, because he probably knows what's going on, I'm gonna scream at him.
I immediately pull out my dagger without even realizing that he's behind me and just whip around while he's yelling and start pointing.
Make an attack roll.
I'm not attacking him, I'm just pointing.
Make a dexterity roll.
Okay.
To not slice his head off in the process.
15.
You manage to keep control of your knife enough to where when you spin around, you don't automatically stab him in the throat.
Dang.
Woo!
I know, he's all sad now.
Oh, Kristoff. Great.
Worth it.
Hey, I got good news.
What is that?
You've been promoted. I'm gonna hand him his promotion letter.
See, he's excited.
And we got paid. Here's 100 gold.
Fuck yeah.
And we gotta leave for the capital tomorrow for a job.
Okay.
Oh,
And he
and
shoots himself.
and
I got no obligations right now, so I'm cool.
actually we have another obligation. I agreed for our group to take care of a job, but since we're leaving tomorrow, we have to take care of it tonight. We're going to take down a guild that, or a pretend guild that is trying to terrorize the entire city, and we need to do it in one night.
What's in it for me?
Fame and glory, and knowing that you've done enough for the people, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of loot that you can get to.
Should have just said loot. I don't care about people.
Loot, sir. Loot.
Loot. Okay.
I start reading through the letter.
So do you guys know where everybody else is?
I have not seen the other two since before I left here.
We're off in the dark alley somewhere.
Well, I mean, if Yessa wants to see us, we shouldn't keep her waiting too long.
Can I get a while we're waiting? Can I get a mug? Yes.
Oh, you mean in real life?
Oh yeah, no, that too. But from you too, in character as well.
In character and meta as well.
Yep.
Alright, so you guys have met up, exchanged the gold and the promotions and all that jazz. You wait around for about 5-10 minutes. The other two party members do not arrive. What are you doing?
I want to roll to see if I understand my place in the universe.
Is that a 1?
It's a 9.
Oh, okay.
You recognize that you are here in this world, and
You're here to be someone's bitch.
you feel good.
Oh, I'm sorry, intelligence +1, so that means I'm gonna say that as a intelligence check, right?
Yeah, it would be.
Okay, so wait,
Actually, it'd probably be more of a wisdom check.
wisdom. Okay,
Wisdom.
then.
Intelligence is knowing what something is. Wisdom is knowing the
Wow.
purpose of that something.
Oh, okay, then 9.
So, but you do recognize that you are here and that you are doing what you believe is good, and you seem content with your current lot in life.
I guess we should just go ahead and go to the meeting.
Good with that?
Yeah, why not?
Sorry.
Suckers.
Yeah, so we'll go
You're gonna
ahead.
be so pissed when you come back and you find out all the things that they've agreed to without you.
I know, I'm just not gonna come back.
Can't have meta knowledge.
Party is now forever split.
Oh no, because I have to come back for George.
Oh, no.
Wait, George is here. Can we take him with us?
No.
No,
Oh, no.
okay. She was about to kill me in real life.
See if George understands his place in the universe.
Not taking George in front of DS.
I mean, George is just kind of chilling in the room. I mean, one of the staff just kind of noticed him, just kind of sitting on the bed, staring off into space. Brought him some food. He recognized that it was food and ate it, but that's really about all that he's done. George does not recognize his place in the universe.
If he did, I would have been really...
He probably had to roll a nat 20 to get that.
I mean, he's still
If he'd rolled a nat 20, he would have came out of his catatonic state.
he's still
Yeah.
he's still not all that lucid, to be perfectly honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Oh, actually, before we leave, I'm going to the bathroom.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't have bathrooms either.
It's a merchant's guild.
Roll to make a bathroom check. This is gonna be a strength check, by the way.
Oh, of course it is. All right.
To hold himself on the toilet seat? Like, no.
See if he can hold it long enough to get
Well,
to the
hold on.
Where's this?
Do they
Strength to
Roll
actually
for
figure it out.
clinching.
do they have handicap bars? If so, I think I should get advantage.
No, we should rip them out of the walls. This is gonna happen.
You think I'm strong?
We broke him.
We broke into him.
We're gonna take another break.
Hold on.
Go ahead and roll. Do your roll.
3. Oh wait, no.
Wait,
2.
So you finally let loose. You're gonna need a bath before tomorrow.
And
Nate, you and Delg hear some very monstrous noises.
Wet
Um,
noises.
It honestly, it sounds like Kristoff is fighting some sort of golem. It sounds like a straight up battleground, and you're not sure exactly what the hell is going on. After a few moments of wrestling with whatever the hell he's doing in there, he comes out drenched in sweat, And ultimately, though, he feels like he has lost 10 pounds.
I washed my
Oh,
hands.
and then
Is the smell hitting us?
Yeah.
Do we need to do a perception on smell?
What do you mean perception? You need to make a freaking fortitude save.
What's that based off of?
Oh, sorry. That's a con.
No, you don't need to make any save. It definitely, as Christoph walks past you, making his way to the stairs,
With the look of relief on his face.
you feel the stench wafting out of the bathroom, and God, it's just the most rank thing you've ever smelled.
It's a shame they don't make Febreze back in
Can't
this
believe you
world.
guys made me do
They
that.
have
My
incense.
character starts going.
Clearly, you've been in the room with Troy and it's gone to the bathroom.
He's still broke.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation and alter everyone's sense of smell
You didn't hear this
to
thing said.
roses.
To roses. Okay. So Nate, as you are trying to hold things in, the smell changes to very floral, very appealing aroma.
That's right.
Mm.
My shit smells like roses.
Only at your mom's house, dude.
I'm not even sure that makes sense, but we'll roll with it.
I mean, have you
But
ever never mind.
roll with it.
14. I don't know what I rolled for. Okay, let's
So
go
you
have our
both
meeting.
good with heading up to meet DSO without them, since they still haven't shown up?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. We'll go ahead and head on up.
My messenger
Not
was a
keep you
tiefling.
waiting
I
any
killed him.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the day that he forgets, and it's like, oh yeah,
This is such and such. He's a tiefling. Fuck.
where did you do that? Oh.
Right. All right. So as you enter DS's office, you see her and Arthur standing, awaiting your presence. They have there are a number of pages lining the desk there in the middle. Ah, good. You got my message. But it appears that we are. It looks like that we are too short. What has happened to your companions?
Honestly, that's
They're still taking care of business.
yeah. I haven't seen them since we left here originally.
Oh, okay. Well,
Don't worry. We'll once we all group up, we'll get them caught up to speed for you.
I'm afraid.
I just shrug.
Well, it would appear that we don't have much choice, do we? Very well. On to business then. We have made arrangements. So, I believe that by now the three of you are aware that we are going to be transporting the arrow to the capital. Am I correct in that assumption?
That's what I was
I'll let them
told.
know.
Now, when the sun sets tonight, we are going to have a caravan, a wagon with 3 bodyguards leaving the city, and they are going to be headed south. They are going to be appearing as if they are headed to the they are going to be appearing as if they are heading to the Guild of the Scholars. As if we are going to be sending the arrow to be researched. In reality, you and your party are going to be the ones who are holding the arrow. Now, what I've done is I have made the arrangements for the caravan, and I have done so with only slight attempts to be stealthy. Now, we are still trying to keep this under wraps, but we are doing so in such a way that we hope whoever is behind the abduction of Arthur here will see our arrangements and follow the caravan, rather than be made aware of our true purpose.
Oh, what is Arcas up to? I'm mispronouncing his name and saying it out loud.
I'm sorry, who?
Arthas?
I don't know any Arthas. Arthur, meanwhile, is rolling his eyes and staring at the ceiling. And his lips are pursed to the point that it almost doesn't look like he has lips. They're so pursed that it's just a straight line. And he's doing his best to not say anything.
My apologies. Continue.
Okay, well, the plan is for your party to meet me in secret at the Eastern Gate. I have already paid a man whom I trust to be at the gate. We want this to be done well after the moon has reached its zenith. Okay? This is going to be done after the moon has reached its high point and is already upon its descent. Not quite so far as to be leaving at dawn, but I want your party to be on your way. If I had to put a number on it, probably 2-3 a.m. At the meeting, at the gate, I will hand over the arrow, and the 5 of you will make your way to the capital city. Now, does anyone in your party know the way, or will you require a map?
Out of character. Where's the capital?
So you guys are there in Shawstone.
Mm-hmm.
The capital city is about right there. I would say 2 days ride.
Okay.
About roughly as about it's to the east, and it is it's about 2 days ride to the east. As far as Phrygia is concerned, it's about in the northeast-ish area.
I feel like I would have had to pass through it just to even make it through to there. Like, in my past for my character.
I mean, it's possible, if that's what you would like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's your character's past, I'm not going to dictate.
Yeah, I feel like I vaguely remember, but I still need a map.
Okay. Well, in that case, we will provide you with a route and a map to show you the way. Once again, the Bonded Stallions are in your debt. We called upon you for something that should have been very simple, and now we are calling upon you again for and putting your lives in great danger, and we cannot thank you enough. Earlier today, Delg and I discussed that you would be compensated for your troubles, and I will hold myself to that. Upon its safe arrival, you will be provided with 200 gold apiece. And you will be eternally and I will be eternally in your debt, personally. Is there anything else that you require before we make the final arrangements? Before I leave you to your own arrangements?
Before we do, it seems like time will be pressed. And have you heard, since you're aware, have you heard of the Black Circle that's been causing issues in the city?
Unfortunately, yes. The Black Circle has been quite a nuisance, and one of the main things that I have been attempting to correct since my appointment as the guild leader. Unfortunately, I've been pulled in several different directions and unable to commit much of my time to that issue. And as from what I understand, there is also another faction that has risen up in the meanwhile and is taking matters into their own hands. This is something that I had wished to avoid, but it would seem that something like this can only be taken for so long before people start to retaliate.
Oh, I've already set up a couple of contacts. A young boy by the name of Ralphie who hangs around our character, what was the name again? What was the name of the bar again?
Oh, the Crosshammers.
The Crosshammers. And then a kind of a, well, I don't know how to describe him, but I like him. A bigger man by the name of Elric, who agreed to meet me at nights near the marketplace as well. You'll notice him, by his lanky character and his fondness for carrots. I believe that they have some idea on where to get you moved forward. Now, I had agreed to his system, and I can't in good conscience leave the city unless you can guarantee that you would provide some assistance to them.
Well, as merchants, we don't really have much in the way of a fighting force. However, it would be silly for us not to have at least a few among us capable of defending themselves. It would make transport and other aspects, protecting our goods, that much more difficult. As such, we do have a small squadron of fighters in our ranks. Are you suggesting that we provide these fighters to spur on this growing tension?
Not specifically, but use what you can to get as much information as you can, because these people will have information, and they should be able to assist you further in helping stop them.
Very well.
Make sure we're protected.
Since you are doing us a great favor in protecting the arrow and transporting it on its way to the capital, I will return the favor by looking into this little problem. We will have one of our contacts meet with your man and do what we can to assist. Is there anything more that you would require from me?
That will be all. Just send word of it if there's any updates of that while we're on the road. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Christoph, Delg, is there anything that you would require?
I think, as far as me, we pretty well discussed everything earlier.
I'll stick with an IOU.
Very well. All right. In that case, I believe we have everything set. If you will just meet me. I don't want to get too specific in case our plan gets leaked, but anytime after the moon has started to descend in the sky is sufficient.
Okay. And I feel we should all meet outside the gate individually, like leave one at a time as opposed to a group.
Okay.
Whatever you feel is best. I'm trusting you in this instance, so whoever meets me at the gate first will be the one I entrust with the arrow, and you can determine among yourselves who that will be.
My vote is Delg.
Delg.
Okay. I feel honored that you guys are trusting me to meet her alone again.
I mean, she is your family.
Twice removed.
Twice removed.
So
Yeah. Is or was.
No, family can't be twice removed. It's not family members twice removed.
okay.
All right, so that's where we're gonna go ahead and end things. So, thanks again for listening in, and we'll meet you guys next week. We'll see what happens.